You're oh, we start. Okay. Wait. Sweet. Okay, yeah, you have taken off running. As soon as Willie Aces fingered you out for being a traitor on your deal, you took off. I believe you owe him 12? 12 is what I was thinking. Yes. 12,000. First would be the equivalent of 120 gold. That is not a small sum. That is like weeks worth of pay for most people, if not much more. So
Yeah, that's why I'm not willing to pay him because he's greedy.
fair enough. And we'll take off down the dock. Is that the plan? Okay, we can all enter into initiative and kind of do a pseudo initiative, unless you'd like to do something right off the bat. Let me hear it. Let me hear what you guys.
I'm gonna like a jingle coin bag. I'm gonna pull out 1,200 or 1,000, whatever it is.
And he's like, stop.
And then put it in his hand.
Okay.
Close it up
Stop.
with hands.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna just walk.
Okay, he's gonna investigate to make sure that this is real. And it's real. Okay. Well, I don't know. I hope too. So, unless you're able to conjure up fake currency. But okay. Altair has paid your debt. Which was silence while he rests. He doesn't care how the money comes in. So long as it does.
And he's still running.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have noticed. So, this is a great way to start the session.
Wait, can I do another thing?
Yeah, go for it.
Can I get a message and tell him I paid off your debt?
Sure.
You hear my voice in your head that says, I paid off your debt. Come back.
I would,
You're going to keep running.
of course, like I would probably. How long is this dock?
Well, 15 feet down, and then it hits like the main strip of merchant stalls and everything. You need another like probably 60, 80 feet to get yourself lost. You need to know what really Aces is able to do in terms of tapping a similar message or something.
Right.
But
So yeah, I would probably get to the end of the dock, and I would slow as I get there, try and kind of natural like I'm jogging.
Yeah.
Touch the end of the dock, and then turn around and start jogging back.
Okay.
Taking a little Willie, seeing if he's still going towards the guards.
Give me a courage saving throw. Once you get deep inside that rock.
It's gonna be a 22.
Fuck me, man. Okay. So we can find way back to the dock, no problem. Running after seems to like he's gonna look at you and he's gonna once he passes you, taking all of his cargo, he's got 3 or 4 helpers that he's paying. He's gonna go, try that in the city, I dare you. He's gonna keep walking.
I'll just give him a little sailor salute.
He's gonna say something in code speak. Which I don't think you speak.
No, I do.
Oh, you do speak it. I don't have to. I don't speak it. Okay. He's essentially going to say, if you guys just speak it everyone here, say first come. But it's essentially a term for people that are just not able to pay their debts. And he's going to keep walking.
Can I call him? I have a long sentence that I thought of, and it was fucking. There's a specific term, like a slur, for actions they just created.
Yeah.
And so the idea would be it's like a whole sentence into a word.
Okay.
It would basically be the idea that they hold on to nicks and like shirts in general tighter than like essentially fire ants, hooked onto a person jumping into a water.
Okay. Watch fast.
You know.
Yes.
Yes.
So what's the phrase?
No, it's I don't know.
It's all about just Bill Neil would say?
No, it's like a specific word. I just don't know how to be.
Okay,
So-
great. Yeah, and he was from the open his arms while the cargo shit or the cargo crates pass him, kind of like, "This is what I got for it,"
Yeah.
and then keep walking. That's kind of his badge of honor. He looks like he's not willing to relinquish there. But you all will touch down on to Port Atha. You will get a quick lowdown by a hology there that is going to give you the quick guide to the 3 districts that are here. He will tell you about he'll hand you a pamphlet, so don't miss
What city are we in again?
create a new voice. Port Atha. ATHA. Does anyone here speak Tongue of the Dragon?
Yes.
You would know that Atha was the name of one of the dragons of Hajin that fought in many of their wars. The Iron Branch, and I'll hand you guys this so you can look at it. I'll also post it and throw it up above. And over here. I got you, buddy. 1 second. Yeah, one second. Dang, apparently this file size is too big for Discord, so I'm gonna snip it. Great. Here we go. This is Port Athos as it stands. I will describe these places in numbered order, and then I'll post the description afterwards.
On my way back, by the way, once I meet back up with you guys, I would probably give you a bit of a bad look. You would say thank you, but it was unnecessary. You wouldn't have caught me.
I would tell you, don't do anything that jeopardizes the mission again.
We'll see what happens.
I get that your people might have a preposition to being chained, but I'd prefer if you didn't do it in your company.
They can't keep me chained. Never could.
And if fear feels as if the air grows 10 pounds, I will now describe a section of the city. The Iron Branch, which is obviously here in kind of the bottom left, is a iron island that is man-made. The intrajectory of Amen and Halaju government presence here at Port Athos. It also holds a small trade route from one side of Lake Athos to the other, as well as the military barracks for the area. Lastly, the town directory, which you are warned is only available to Amen and Halaju. So it's kind of a government wing there. Second is the Mafu Memorial Passage. That is where you guys are currently docked, right here. This area is a stretch of water that has docks and merchant stalls all along it, acting as the place where adventurers, travelers, and tourists go. The majority of boats and offloading is done here. Next is going to be Holiday Lane, which is number 3, which is up here. Holiday Lane is that's the Iron Branch, and you can get there over the main bridge. Or if you wanted to take a little boat, you could get there quicker. It's off the docks under the bridge. You can find the beginning of the Holiday Lane, which is a commemorative path of Halaju and Amen history, leading to the massive holiday estates, which are vineyards and mansions owned by the Halaju 1%. You are warned you may not be allowed all the way up to the holiday estates. Munadi Town is the 4th, which is this section right here. Munadi Town is also found by departing off the other side of Lake Athos and the bridge at the stalls underneath where you guys are at. Here, your slavery status will be confirmed as you let into you are let into the nice region of the Munadi and the citizens of Halaju. Here, local communities thrive with high-quality shops and nice houses. Finally is number 5, which is kind of this middle belt area here, and this is Tifa Town, accessible from docks at the Mafu Memorial Pass and Munadi Town. This is the workers' district of Port Athos. Here, the Tifa Kalars work as the lowest members of society. Their own ecosystem of survival is found here, though there is little reason to visit this area, as Alaju Manatis try and hide from the tourists by a giant wall that encloses all the slaves. And so this is the point where I will give the quickest little rendition of the situation of Halaju as I can, so that the my food's out of it, right? Yes, I am done with it.
Should we wait for this for
Yeah, we
Hayden?
probably should wait, so I don't have to redo it.
Wait, the whole thing.
He said, "Be there soon. So sorry for being late tonight."
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, he sounds like.
Hopes and prayers.
Hopes and prayers. Best wishes. But I will say that the Mothru Memorial Passage where you guys are let off doesn't really require the giant exploration dump that I was about to do. Mainly because this is the tourist section. And I will say one little, I don't know if it's a retcon, but Inoue, the captain, as you guys got on your little boat, she probably would have said something similar to, "Don't be fooled by the port cities," when it's related to Amenhotep, Halaju, and the Slave Kingdom. So don't be fooled by what they're about to show you. And that will be mainly explored by the Mathu Memorial Passage, because as you guys step off, a resounding amount of like vibrant smells, not just the smells, but the sights, the kubas that are their giant domed buildings with kind of the point right at the top. And also just kind of like the culture that permeates with every breath as you step along this main stretch right here. I will say, yeah. So I guess I'll ask you guys, what do you want to do as soon as you step off on your own here?
So, our original mission,
Yes.
Super Atlas, trying to remember, and we worked through. What were his units?
If I'm being honest, this is what my notes are up to, is getting before Appa, and then eventually locate and infiltrate a city, you know. But do you have anything other than that?
I don't.
So we might be kind of just waiting from here.
Well, and if you go to Port Atha, get help to go to Port Atha.
I would have done disguise kit and
just
two.
do that check.
Oh, and then I couldn't remember what we landed on because the skill that I took, the actor skill, that either gives like the person who's trying to see if it.
I can give you
See
advantage
through?
on this roll. It's probably easier
Okay.
than 8 rolling with disadvantage.
Right.
You got a speeding ticket.
What?
Oh, sure.
Aw.
Yeah, here's the ticket.
Was it
It was on let's see, where was it? It says Marine Drive
I don't know exactly where it is.
on Halloween.
Well, I was trying to get some candy. I was trying to come home. Let me see.
Yeah, 2 o'clock.
Very good picture.
No, there's not, so I can draw some cord.
Oh yeah, you can.
I'm your officer? Okay.
That one was in the mail. Because I think it probably was maybe the same place. And when I was like door dashing like last year, and technically my car is under my mom's name. Because when I had my old car and it got stolen, she gave me her car and used the money to buy herself a new car, a truck.
Gotcha.
So it worked out. But so I just said, "Oh," she said, "Oh, I wasn't driving," and clearly she wasn't. Never heard anything.
Yeah, it's also not enforceable by law because nobody was there to see you do that act. Yeah. So there's no witnesses.
So they're just not doing it? Or do I have to show up?
I would recommend looking up.
Also, if you just show up in court, they'll usually at the very least, just like literally showing up.
Sam, we're getting one right.
We are.
It's like, we got you, bitch. And then they got too excited, didn't put a price on.
Well, it's $170.
What's good? It's nothing for you, money bags.
If it's the Oregon one and it's your first ticket from Oregon, then you can watch a video and get it not.
Oh, sweet.
Okay. That's what I was gonna do if they actually send me from here.
You need some dice?
I need one extra D20. I guess I'll just roll this twice.
Go ahead.
Usually. I guess. Alright. So it's the disguise self or disguise kit. What am I adding to that? Just proficiency bonus? Because I'm proficient
No,
with
there's
it.
going to be a skill check.
Okay.
I imagine it was either dexterity or charisma, but I don't know.
Okay.
Intelligence.
Intelligence. Alright. With proficiency because I'm
Yes.
proficient in it? Okay. So intelligence and proficiency. So. Okay. Alright, that's a 19.
19? Okay. You think you do a pretty good job. I'm not sure if it's going to get past kind of the elite. But look at the differences between kind of like slave and slave owner
Mm-hmm.
day in and day out.
I got this. I'll never know.
You have it. Great. So you guys have kind of gone over what the initial move is going to be here, but as it goes much further than that, you have nothing. You're standing on a dock with a bunch of people passing in and out.
I say we go to the market.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's going to be one of the more populated areas, and I imagine going into any new city, if someone's going to find us, that's probably where they'd expect us to go. But we should know the city yet, but I'm up to other ideas.
Everyone give me an investigation check. We'll give you a walk through the market.
15.
Not one.
Not one.
14.
Okay. Alright. As you walk, nothing really sticks out at you initially. Off in the distance, you guys can feel like this. But like, really, the talk and the like the humming of people chattering is kind of drowning out everything else. Until one person will kind of go, "Excuse me, so we don't make a lifelong friend." This will look like your typical Hollister trader walking the beat on Mafu Memorial Passage. And he just kind of like stops you guys and almost like blocks off every movement that you have, and he says, "So we don't make a lifelong friend."
What happens if we don't solve a riddle?
You can keep walking. I'm not doing anything.
But like we won't make a lifelong enemy, right?
No, of course not.
What kind of problems fun? Let's go solve a riddle.
It's easy. It's quick. Creature. Right? What creature is moving backwards?
Lived?
This. What creature is moving backwards?
Devil?
And then as soon as you say the word, a different creature will take over his skin.
A lifelong friend, please.
This beast will emerge out of his skin.
My goodness.
And he says, "Don't be alarmed. No one else can see." However, you three can see that this is an actual, what looks like a devil standing in front of you. The temperature seems to rise 10 to 15% as soon as he appears. And he said, "Do you want to play a game? You can win big. You see, many people think I'm a devil. Do any of you speak the tongue of the judge?"
Yes.
And he's gonna say, "When you hear the word," and he'll speak some word in the language, and you'll know that what he's about to say is true. He goes, "This is the most ancient language, and in this language, angel and devil are the same word. I see myself as an angel. I claim." He says, My business is 75% Dinians and Herthians, because these people value rules and constitution above all else. And he says, are you a Dinian yourself?
Sure I am.
And he goes, then you understand my meaning. So make a contract with me. The greatest power you'll ever see will become materialized in front of your face.
I don't like the sound of contract.
There was an actor named once. I forget his name. He created an incredible concept. Collateral. Have you heard of it? A beautiful thing. You see, I use one's soul as collateral. All you have to do is do what you said you would. Follow through on a simple agreement. Now, I know that this sounds scary, and you've probably heard tunes and fables about my existence. He says, but I bet you didn't think I was going to offer this. And he takes out a deck of cards. And he kind of twindles it between his fingers, but this doesn't seem like any ordinary deck of cards. He says, this might be the most powerful deck of cards you've ever seen in your entire lives.
What do they do?
And he goes, they can grant wishes. They can create kingdoms. All at the flick of a wrist and the pull of a card. Here's how my deals work. Yes. How rude. I haven't introduced myself. My name is Tarsuvius. He says, I simply want to make a deal. You take one pull of my card. Some cards may do misdeeds. Others may grant you the most power you've ever felt in your entire life. You take one pull, and then we have a deal that you need to follow through on. The deal is directly tied to the power of your card. Simple. As soon as you're done with our agreement, you take another pull of the card, so you wish. And then our contract is over.
So there's no guarantee that even pulling a card and then having to do something for you, that the card itself will be beneficial.
That is correct. This is a deal for the gamblers. You can all give me an Arcana check to see if you've ever heard of what he's offering before.
Another nat one.
Oh my gosh.
Same.
Whoa.
12? Let's see if these dice are.
What do you got? Oh.
Now we're 12.
12?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't know anything. But you can feel, even though that, like, when he appeared, there was like a hot burst of air that's kind of emitted. As soon as you pull the deck out, the deck of cards out, it almost looks like a cool breeze.
I'll look at you both.
I'll shake my head.
I agree.
I have no need for wishes.
Shall it change your mind if I tell you the conditions of my deal before you pull a card?
Potentially.
He says, these cards are ranked. Strength in their power. Some of them I would consider weak, but to an average person would consider life-changing. The next step up would be average. Again, would be monumental shifts in the being's life. The step higher than that would be what people in my business call good. And that would be, that's a kingmaker card. Lastly is powerful, which would make the gods themselves quiver. And he tells you what all of his deal outcomes would be. And he says that this is as good as any contract he's ever made. So if it's powerful, if you pull a powerful card on your first roll, you serve your life to this devil. Upon your death, the devil shall find you in your rent land within 100 days and give you your second pull on the deck, or they will die. That's like he would die if he doesn't do that for you. If you pull a good card, you serve the next 100 days to this devil, who can appear to you at any point that they need. You must follow their commands. And then average, if you kill someone that the devil names, they must name the person within 100 days or they die. Immediately upon the death, you will be granted to roll another card. Kill someone that the devil names, they must name them within 100 days or they die. Immediately upon the death, you will be granted to roll another card. But the last two, any different?
They're the same. Were they meant to be?
Yep. Okay, well, that's weird. I figured out because I grew, but that is what he is offering you guys.
Rogar.
I was gonna say, sure, wait for he might have a train, so
Maybe, but you don't have to, he can take him up on the offer. But all of you guys, it will be a no. Yeah. Yes. Okay. He's gonna tip his hat, and as soon as he pulls it back up, he will be the Hollinger trader again, who just continues walking down the street. Yeah.
That guy's so creepy looking.
I like him.
Yeah?
This guy.
Oh, that is creepy as hell.
Huh?
I mean, you know what that was? Knife. What's that? Knife.
Yeah.
Was it one of the ones that you got on your one of your adventures?
No, it's a. Can I say it?
Yeah, you can say it.
Build a deck of many things.
Mm.
Deck of many cards. Something like that. Yeah. But it was a bit of have to change the cards.
Yeah. Change some.
Yeah.
So.
Is it originally a D&D thing or
It's like that.
D&D?
That one.
It's known as the game breaking.
Yeah. It's confusing why you do it out on session like 3. It's kind of wild. I want to see what's up.
Oh, nice.
Known for being game breaking.
Yeah, like literally campaign changing.
Gotcha. Like give you the wish skill or something?
Yeah, like either a spell or like just kill you. Kills you. Yep.
One that levels you up a bunch, one that levels you down a bunch.
Yeah. Oof. You have to go all the ways to actually level down.
So you can lose a character or kind of lose a character because you're too powerful for the crew or
No.
Split that and good. That's risky. That's cool though.
very fun. How much do I actually like this character?
Does my character have to get before we decide to do that?
Even that tinging sound will just continue. As your character's walking and you guys are just looking at all the sights, every once in a while a flare will like jump into the air and a bunch of people scream, there's people just breaking out in dances. The smell of like every other stand almost seems to be some sort of college spice rack that seems to be like offering this new type of sage or allspice or whatever it be. You just kind of get enveloped in this view, and then the one thought just keeps creeping into your character's mind, which is that you may get found out here. Because this is an Amenhotep-owned territory, and that thought almost like perverts your brain to a point where everything else gets drowned out for a few moments. And the question that your character begins to ask themselves is like, what happens if I do get found out? Was my disguise good enough? Do a good enough job early in the morning? Like every little thought that I had when I thought my disguise wasn't perfect, is that going to be the thing that gets me caught in trouble? And if it is the rest of the group going to suffer a similar fate to what happened to you prior? And as soon as you think all of those things, you almost start having like a panic attack, and you stop walking, and this tinging sound is the only thing that permeates above all the other sounds, that just continues in the back of your head. And then you start having the thought that you are going to get caught. It's like a done deal. And this sound almost represents like you going to the conclusion that you think is going to draw. That way, at least you feel as if you were the maestro of your own destruction. So I'm going to check. So those people, it takes a couple steps forward, and in this crowded space, that's all it takes for you to kind of get enveloped in lost almost. And you look up, you take a deep breath. The color floods back into your vision, and I want to ask: Are you going to look for the group, or are you going to kind of go towards the sound, or what do you want to do initially?
I would look towards the sound.
Okay, and start taking some steps towards that. Both of you can give me a perception check, please. And if you roll a critical failure again, that would be great. That's all right.
Oh, thank 17.
14.
Okay. When you do something different, you will see kind of like you have like a braid behind your head just a little bit. You see it dip between a couple of people because college is made normally of
Shorties.
What's that? Did anybody hear that?
Buzz.
Buzz. It's right here.
You did.
What?
Oh, Buzz.
Light her up! No. You know what?
What is it about?
Like it didn't work earlier.
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't leaving earlier.
Are you gonna follow him, or do you kind of want to leave him to his own?
Oh, I'm
Correct.
for sure following him.
Okay, which will leave him kind of alone for a second because you start to hear a conversation, and you were walking by this couple, and they were talking, and one of the people was talking way more than the other, and they would stop and kind of do like they would go and they would like think before they would continue talking, but in those little brief intermissions, they would say a couple of words that weren't conventional, and you don't even need to speak Kaiju to understand that they were speaking underword. Do you want to stop? And like you also, and then that suspicion was confirmed by the fact that the guy that was listening would nod as soon as he would start, and then he would like say something.
Yeah.
And those moments would be taken.
Do you speak underword?
Yeah.
Well, no, language is I don't speak on. Well, no, in the world, I speak all languages. So it's like when you can speak as well as speaking, so,
Welcome in.
that.
I know, the short stuff. Welcome. So it's out there the devil and then there's the merchant. Where's that? You watching a podcast? No, it's listening to this question. It's not injuries. You can do that.
Do that.
I saw on YouTube, I'm like live streaming these. So you're late, you can just tune in.
Who's
Yeah,
that?
true.
Yeah, good point. Okay. Yeah, you just see that there was a devil. So the group stopped, got off on Port Athos. They were walking through the Memorial Passage area, which I was running on this. You paid. You paid him off. That's one.
People run.
Rest on the center room, which was what is a creature that's lived backwards? And Akna here said devil, and then his skin changed. And this creature who introduced himself as Tarsuvius and asked if they wanted to take a pull from the deck, his magical deck. However, this would create a contract between you and him that promised that this deck was incredibly powerful and would bring either great fortune or great misfortune to your life in a way that would sway your life drastically. Everyone said no because he revealed what the sentence of his side of the contract would be depending on how powerful your card was.
Well, we also have a 4, and then he showed us that.
Yeah, okay.
And then he also
Yeah, he signed like counter offer. Be like, well, what about this? The bottom two are the same, I've realized, but essentially he's saying that if you pull a powerful card, that you will serve your life to him, and then in heaven, essentially, he'll show up to you and offer another pulling of his deck.
Gotcha.
And he promises that this deck is either incredibly powerful, like in your favor, or it might be incredibly detrimental to you. But at least it's a chance to roll the dice.
Got it.
Everyone said no because they didn't want to make a deal with the devil where they were going to be tied to his will. But the option still is there.
That sounds good. I'll say no as well.
Okay, great. Okay, great. Other than that, I give you guys a breakdown of the
Wait, do you want to go through the
districts that are in the city, and if somebody will hand in the note there, right. Chill, girl.
That almost just ended badly.
So going through these really quickly, main branch, the top district, which if you have the map there is going to be number 1. I'm going to go in order. Is the introductory of the Almond and the Hollow government. It's essentially where the government goes, and if you guys ever wanted to do any official governmental business, you'd go here. The second area, number 2, is the Mafu Memorial Passage. That's where you're at. That's like the tourist area where all the travelers and visitors go. The majority of boats offload there. The third is the Holiday Lane, or Holiday Lane. This place is the commemorative flag apology. That's where a lot of fun stuff happens. A homage on the honor history There's a lot of like places that kind of celebrate both of their histories there. And then it's topped off by a giant vineyard and mansions named the Holiday Estates, which are owned by the elites. Fourth is Munati Town. Munati is a word that means short in Hology, which essentially is to say slaver, which we'll get into in a second. And that is the area where the slavers are. So it's high quality of shops, and there's a bunch of nice houses there. And your slaver status will be confirmed if you want to go there. And the fifth area is Tifa. It's accessible by where you're at. It's blocked off by a giant stone wall, because this is kind of the most grim area where the low-income Tifa Kalars were as the lowest members of society.
So the Munati,
yeah.
That area where it says here your slavery status will be confirmed.
Yes.
So since none of them are slaves, but they're also not slavers, would they be allowed because they're technically free? Only people who actually own slaves allowed into that region.
That's probably going to be only people that own slaves are going to be allowed into that region.
Cool.
You could probably talk your way into it if you seem like if you can prove that you definitely own a slave. And one step goes back, I'll go over a really quick history of why this kingdom has slavery and what it's about and stuff. But for the most part, as you guys were walking along the Mathu Memorial Passage, Akna here kind of got distracted, turned and walked off into the crowd of people.
Side mission.
Section check to see what your character would be.
That was 6.
6? Okay, you probably wouldn't notice him leaving at all. I'm going to be distracted here and there by perhaps one of the food vendors offering you a taste of whatever their local meat is. However, this is a quick moment where I'll go over the kingdoms, just real quick, and explain how you're expected to act in this area while we're here, and then we can continue on. So, essentially, there were 2 kingdoms that were best friend kingdoms the entire 1500 years, which was Hajim, and whenever you think of Hajim, you can think of Islamic-style dwarves. And there is Amenhotep, which are black-skinned half-elves that kind of live like Aztec people. And they were best friends for the longest time until Hashim decided to betray Amenhotep by abolishing slavery, because this was something that binded the 2 kingdoms that all other 6 kingdoms were against them for, and so that kind of pushed them in a corner and made them like brothers. But then Hashim, a leader, was elected king, and immediately made it illegal to have slaves, and then they started trading all of Amenhotep's secrets to all the enemies. So Amenhotep took this to offense. Hajim was like, hey, are we still cool? I just don't want to have slavery anymore. Are we cool if we just keep this going? And Amenhotep was like, yeah, totally. But in reality, Amenhotep was like, no, that's not cool with us for you to do that. So what they did is they reached out to Hajim's worst enemy, Dinartha, which is the blue-skinned half-elves, like the people on the boat, and said, hey, if you help me destroy Hajim, the win-win. You get them off their plate, and I get to subjugate them. And that's exactly what happened. They both betrayed Hajim in the Betrayer Wars, and Amenhotep subjugated Hajim. During these subjugation talks, they said, hey, you will still keep all your culture, you'll still keep all your people, but you're just going to be under us. Hajim said, yes, so long as we go after Dinartha eventually. And they both did. That was the second Betrayer War. I'm not even going to talk about that. When it comes to slavery in the place you're at, it's important for you to know Hajim enslaves people based on height. They're heightists because they're all dwarves, so they're very small. So they enslave anyone that's going to be of higher stature. So none of you actually would qualify. You would all qualify as slaves, technically. But you're They do race cutoffs. They don't do actual like number height cutoff. So
There was a number at one.
really what?
Like a specific number.
Yeah.
It's not like an inch higher than growth.
Yeah, but since in the dynasty there's scales called small scales. They are legal in Hajim. You are not legal, but you're in a more trading and you're in a port city, so they're not going to enforce it nearly as much. And
How tall are the Holland?
the Holland, I think, are like 4 foot tall.
Okay.
About.
That's
Yeah. And so that's probably somewhere near where the cutoff's going to be. But for the most part, it's just race-based. Amenhotep is a religious slavery. And the only reason I'm talking about them is because they own Hajim, and you're in a Halaju city, so it's like both of those rulerships are happening at one time. But they enslave people based on essentially religion, saying that all of their slaves are working towards an actual afterlife. And that's what makes them useful. So I just want to let you guys know that, so that when we're actually like role playing all of this, you can have a little bit of peace and understanding about what's happening, and not talk your way into a confusing scenario.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, I'll be very generous about like you said this, I didn't really mean to say this, but I didn't understand. In the Mafu passage, you guys will see a a giant banner of a Halaju's face that has been erected on pretty much every street corner that you walk to.
Would we see this before? Would we all kind of split off?
Yes, yeah. This would have been as soon as you step off the boat. This figure's face is pretty much everywhere, and you can all give me a history check really quick. This is the stuff I just didn't want to say until Hayden too much out here, but
Totally fair.
Damn, dude.
it's in the back there. I don't know where you would have heard this, but you probably would have heard it in one of your classes in the dynasty about other governments. But this man is known as General Mafu, and I just told you about the first Betrayer War where Amenhotep and Zarta teamed up to defeat Hajim. This man was the Halaju leader when they were betrayed. It was as soon as they teleported. It's the guy. The guy who was betrayed. And so his picture is everywhere, and this whole area is memorialized to him. You will continue walking. You are following.
Does that seem weird that now that like things have reverted back to slavery and he was the one who's there, like when they abolished it? Does that seem weird that they memorialize him?
It does.
Okay.
You're an additional check. Give me a survival check for tracking, and we'll kick it back over to Altina really quick, who had heard the Halaju speaking in the very elusive tongue of the underworld. As I kind of previously mentioned before, you got here, Hayden. He had overheard a couple of people talking in like a secret dialect that's like underneath all languages that kind of undercuts and speaks about its own messages. And you don't speak Halaju, so you don't 100% understand what they're saying, but you get the message.
Yeah, I have the
Yeah, which is exactly why I brought this up to you. You'll hear them say he says like 3 or 4 words and he keeps repeating them, and then until the guy essentially goes like, okay, and then they go their separate ways. And you don't know what the words are, but you take them to memory. So if you take them to anyone who can speak Halaju, they're going to be able to recite these words for you. You're just essentially able to catch on to the cadence.
Hey.
Once you walk, it's almost like all of a sudden everyone's walking away from you. Like everyone's face, you just have the thought that person knows. That person knows. That person knows. They're about to say something. It's going to bring everything crumbling down. What did you get on your survival check? Okay, you'll be able to successfully track him to the sound of kind of this ting, ting, ting. It's like almost driving a little bit of a wedge into the back of your neck. And as it kind of opens up to this scene, you will see a statue of Mafu, and it's being taken down by Onyx. And there are all of you who are on their knees crying at the face of the statue, as like these very colorful, black-skinned workers are just like taking a hacksaw to the ankles of this thing, as people are like putting offerings and crying towards them. And that is where you'll kind of like, it's like everyone kind of gives you a little bit of bubble and a little bit of space for your brain to actually like deduce that you're not actually in a whole lot of trouble and nobody was really looking at you. And then you'll hear the footsteps of Sora also walking up right behind you.
And I'll just come and stand next to you.
I'll probably just.
You need an inside check to see if you can tell that he's just had a full blown panic attack, but it's not going to be hard to tell. I don't want to. Yeah, I think that if that feels fair to you, that she could probably tell that you're like.
Yeah, probably seeming out of sorts.
I feel like since the beginning, I've been trying to keep an eye on you a little bit, and just am getting weird readings, and so I probably was a little concerned after you ran on the dock that this is not a place you feel very comfortable.
Fair enough. And you just walk as they kind of like get to where they're cutting, they're sawing through the ankle, and then they have to stop and like actually remove some of the people that are crying at the base of the statue.
And Mathu is that the dude that you were just?
Yes.
That's all the pictures. Gotcha.
Yeah. So now the previous decisions
Uh-huh.
as that Omnibus acting are trying to take down statues and like undo his
work. Okay. Once I probably got like my feet underneath me, I would just shake my head and start walking back. I would probably notice you and be like, "We should go find the others."
I'm gonna ask if you've ever been here before.
I don't think I would have.
Here's kind of general, depending on what you're asking, but
Yeah.
you haven't. I don't know if you've been to Port Athos before.
Yeah.
Playing on.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in places like this. I don't believe I've been to this port before, but I've been to many other cities within the Amun and Halaju territory.
We should try some food then, because I haven't hear me that.
Yeah. That's the one thing that they have is a lot of food.
What? What's not excellent, pretty good. You guys will find him, I assume, tasting meats from free vendors. Just and then you guys need to find somebody and go, Mr. Ben. And she'll run up to you, and she'll go, you're from the Dark State? Apologies.
Yeah, I am.
Gracious, are you here on business?
Just official travel.
Official travel? Well, it would be my pleasure to welcome you over to the Iron Branch should you see fit. We have plenty of diplomats there to meet you, okay?
Okay.
You just go over there, say you are looking for Sonora.
Sonora, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. What's your name?
I really have to be going.
Right now, let's ask you your name. Here's a message. You're good. Jasmine.
It's Jasmine.
What were you doing?
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you, Jasmine. And then he goes. He doesn't like. Seems like the face of the operation. You're in the car. Great. Okay. You heard a few words that you jotted down out there, but
Yeah.
other than that,
Yeah.
okay, fair enough. Do you want to go anywhere specific on this stretch of the city, or are you just kind of chilling, hanging out?
So, weapons market?
Yeah, definitely. You can. I'll tell you that you know that everything here you think is going to be hyped up prices, probably because this is the tourist area.
Mm-hmm.
If you're able to get to a place like Munadi Town, the prices will be cheaper. But that being said, you might just go where you can.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you could go to there's a few places that are going to be selling just anything out of the player's handbook. If you needed anything.
Sweet. Let's go continue on with the group for right now.
Well, if you want anything out of the player's handbook, I think it's page 145. If you want to restock on anything,
Okay.
if you need a book, those I'll tell you that their prices will be on those. But
Okay.
great. I want to catch up with everyone.
I actually do want something. 50 feet of rope.
Okay, that would be like call it 25 chirps.
Spending.
You speak
What- what-
you speak?
145, I think.
145.
Yes.
All right, we'll call it 15. Explain your way down then. And nobody took me on deck of many things. I hope one of the other group does.
I really thought about it, dude.
It's fair. Sure, it's fine. Wild.
How much would a shield be? I do not have them.
I don't know if you can rage with the shield, just to let you know.
In case I don't care.
Yes. It would be sold here for 14,000.
Never mind.
Spending the shoes.
Spend these shields.
1,400. I am sorry.
That's all. Just as much as my dad.
1,500.
I'm through right now.
Great. What's the next step for you guys? I will say Altair's feathers around his cheeks are starting to flutter a little bit with anticipation.
Oh, yeah. Say the words. Is there like an inn, market, somewhere where we can eat?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
They have a lot of like outdoor areas that are like in the middle of the walk, and there's like an ingress, there's an egress, and then straight in the middle is just a bunch of seats with like these turquoise covers over them that you can sit down at.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we'll find somewhere to eat. Like, I think that'd be pretty. I mean, that wasn't shit food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys can grab
Yeah.
and grub.
And then I'll ask the group, does anybody here speak Halaju?
Hello.
Okay, and then I'll repeat the 4 words.
Okay, great. The 4 words that you're going to know that he has just said is Corwainer, it's 2 words that mean forbidden magic, and then a street name, which is that you've seen nearby as you went on your wandering way.
Gotcha. So, Forbidden Magic, Corwainer,
Yes.
which seems like maybe a name. Is that all?
A relatively renowned profession.
No.
You know what it is?
Hmm?
It's a shoemaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Little copper. Okay. I'll just repeat back like what each one means.
Who needs new shoes?
Shoes.
I thought I was using any pair of shoes. Onto that.
You know what this means? Like, is it just the idea that there might be forbidden magic at this shoemaker? At a shoemaker?
Yeah, I will tell you that the master of the linguist, but it probably means that this shop has something to do with the collective. Yeah, that if you can find a cobbler, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go check it out.
Sure. I don't think we have any other leads.
Yeah.
So,
Why not?
what were the people that I like that were talking?
There are 2 Halajus.
Halaju. I will also turn into a Halaju. I am 5 feet tall. Very.
Round of 4.
I'm going round 4. And were they wearing any specific garb or anything like that?
Now, if it would be like those saggy clothes, yes.
Okay. And then have I seen Zetsu's cloaks at all?
Not here, no.
Okay. Do I know if they're kind of a hot subject? You know,
Sure, yeah.
because there's no
It's the incident.
Madia, like,
Yeah.
you know. Would I have seen, like, do I think it's in bad taste?
No, I'll say that the feeling that you get is that this is very much like a touristy town. It's right head up to like North Halkar,
Yeah.
where like the hunk of Hajim is.
Yeah.
You find a lot of people up there wearing them.
Okay.
But to have it down here would almost be like, bro, what are you doing here?
Yeah. I'll just shoot my quick to number one, and then I'll basically I like to take like 13 people that I meet on the way, and then I make like their face into my face.
Oh, great. I did a lot.
Regime.
Regime.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay.
And then I'll probably start asking around for cobblers, and then I'll have like a shoe that's like starting to do the thing.
Yeah.
So this is my disguise.
Oh, fine.
Dress up.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll make it a super easy check. Give me a persuasion check, a performance check as a Holoshu to be able to.
16.
Yeah, you'll get somebody will look at you and go, oh, I know the place. Punjab hidden name. 2 streets down, 1 to the left. You can't miss it. 3 shoes on top of the sign.
Okay. I will head there.
Cal,
Oh,
listen to this. Oh, I need to tell. Seabash sent you.
see that.
I don't get commission, but like it makes me feel good at night, you know.
Makes me feel good.
Yeah.
So tell everybody that somebody said, fear on the court.
It's all word of mouth and issue.
Yeah, I'll just go display this person, and then this Mr. Veem, and then I'll head into the shop.
Great. Head to the shop.
Yeah.
As soon as you get to the shop, you see it. You actually probably realize that you perhaps have walked by this shop because it was close to where you guys got off, but you didn't see it until now. The shop logo, the hanging wooden sign, has 3 boots that are hanging from it, and the soles of the boots are all white, when the boots themselves are like a brownish, amber brown. But the white soles spell out 111 when you look at them, kind of like with your head tilted just a little bit. And 111 is the signification of essentially the realm-wide cult of the collective. If you ever see like a 1 and a 1 and a 1 here, that means that like, oh, you're dealing with the collective. So that immediately tips you off as somebody who speaks language. Nobody else here probably would notice that at all.
Yeah, I don't mention that.
Yeah. Okay, great.
I'll probably at this point head inside.
Okay. As soon as your hand touches the handle, you hear. You ever think about a profession change? Cassius.
Cassius, the fruity bird.
And he says, we could use someone with your intuition, making it here in your own way.
I like slightly tilt my head, and then I'll actually have to look at me. I'm going to block down.
Sure.
Cassius, it's not very nice to lie to people.
Well, lie to yourself.
You told us that we were going to be breaking people out of a prison. They broke into the prisons themselves. Why'd you lie to them? And us?
I wanted to see what you're made of. Simple enough. And he says, please, inside. And I was like,
yeah.
and then you guys inside.
I'll bring them along and we know that Cassius is here. And then I'll probably drop my disguise.
Okay, right. And then you'll find you guys yourself in a corner of the shop where he's going to go, I'm being directed on behalf of somebody above me. You have to know that. Decisions that I would like to make. Here, I'm not allowed to make. One of which is how transparent I'm allowed to be with you. Okay? I tell you what I'm told to tell you. And that was that you were going to break somebody out. I wanted to test your mettle. And it seems like you have enough of it, if I'm willing to be finished. And he says, that being said, did any of you two, did you explain with the other two what you're going to be doing here? What the overall mission is?
No.
Did you?
No.
Perception check from you. Who told them earlier today that you were looking for a hidden city?
That's true.
Or persuasion if you forgot that you had said that.
I thought it was just a group like ours. That's gonna be a 23. Oh, Jesus. You crossed my brow. My persuasion is 7.
God damn. Alright,
No, that's yeah. No, it's 7. Straight, I think.
Well, good. You can all appeal to authority just fine. I hate these checks and balances that Hush makes me go through, but I have to do it to the wiser, okay? And he says, now I have to go do something here, if you don't mind. This is the next step in the evolution of finding this place, yes?
Suppose.
And he's going to grab, like, a couple of things off the shelves. It looks like he doesn't really take much consideration of what he's grabbing. And then he's going to walk up to the front counter, and there will be a gentleman there who will introduce himself as Pinjab. Sounds like Wayne. That's the guy that he told him to go to.
Pinjab.
He smile. He greets Cassius with a very friendly smile. And Cassius will kind of lay out what he's going to buy, and Pinjab kind of says, "Oh, the trouble is 22J and a budgie." And Cassius will ask if he can pay in all budgies. Pinjab is kind of confused for a second because that's like demoting the currency to paying in a lot. That's essentially being like, "Oh, it's $10. Can I pay in pennies?" What? And then he does the mental math and realizes that the total sum, and you would probably realize this, the total sum of what he's asking to pay for is 111 budgets. And then Pinjab will kind of just like nod along and go, "Oh yes, in that we can break up that's feelings." And he goes, "Yes, yes." And then Pinjab goes, "Sorry, my son is running around in the store. Would you come around him and make sure that he does not make a mess of the place? Yes." His name is PJ, Pinjab Jr. And you guys look around and he's like around one corner and then he just takes off. He will survival check to attempt to find him. Cassius and Pinjab will start to walk to the back. Does anyone want to follow them?
He did tell us to wait here.
Great.
Yeah.
You're staying?
I'm staying.
I'm definitely looking over all this wares. Does he look like an actually decent shoemaker?
He does. He even has
Look, he's got some sick Jordans.
the Kingdom's Reign version of Jordans are Rihas. Which is Oxophage is the kingdom of production, and they are very famous for their workers' shoes. And a line of workers' shoes, it's a giant corporation called Riha. It got so famous that the Axophage military, every time they would have a successful victory, they'd go, "Riha." Their corpse to show. He does have some masterwork Riha shoes that are +5 speed for 20,000 gold. Or sorry, 20,000 chirps. I didn't change that name yet. He also has in the back a very fancy suit that can be worn with any armor as long as it's light or less, or which would be no armor, which are French treasures. It says that they cannot be affected by the reduction of speed based on natural elements. So if it's like difficult terrain with natural elements, that will not reduce your speed. These are 5,000 chirps. Cool. So these are the two things that he has to offer. I guess I can. That's what he look like. That's how dorky you.
Like a little proud.
So those are the two offerings that he has here, other than just like some fancy upgrades. If you wanted a certain type of looking shoe, he can make it no problem. Did anyone want to attempt to listen in at the door that has now been shut as they have their private conversation? It would just be as simple as putting your ear up to the door and listening.
No.
I'm chasing down this kid. I got a 19, by the way.
You got a 19, you find.
I'm gonna survive.
Yeah.
He's gone good.
Yeah.
Looking around, and she was like, "Why would people wear these? You know, all the time."
Like that.
It's like, God, this is like it's downright disgusting.
He's going to see me, then that is beautiful. He will come out 5 minutes or so later and walk up to you guys and just give you a nod that we're good to head out of here. And I have the next step of the.
I would once Punjab. Once he comes back, I would go up and in trade speak, ask him if he would take 3,000 for the suit because it was 5,000, right?
Yeah. Give me a persuasion check. It's gonna be what, 40% reduction in price?
But it's in trade speak.
Case.
Well, that's gonna be a 9.
Okay, he's gonna kind of like laugh, and he's going to go. I know I'm good friends of Cassius, and I've just acquainted myself, but no friend.
What about Cassius and Search?
He was, see
Can I go with that?
that? Love you.
Thanks, mate.
Right? You've been friends. It's not.
You can get rid of that and take on this on the news. Have you seen me? Now, you give me a persuasion check as well. Whatever the space stands.
You can't stand.
That's a dirty 20.
He'll go, 3,000? Or what did you say? You said 3?
3.
He goes, see that you dirty devil. We have 3,000 good enough.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I was always say 2.
You are fucking dirty now, bro. I fucking love that.
That's what I can't hear me. No, I can give you more and less of the slave.
It's like trench chargers. It's way more like this. I probably wouldn't have it on Joe. It's
Just the Weehaws on us.
Weehaws class. Yeah, master. Think of a axling phrase, which is essentially to say like I didn't. It's to say you don't want to get caught with clean weehaws. It's like I'd rather get caught with clean weehaws. Like that's the most embarrassing thing that can happen to like a blue collar worker in this world is to get caught and have your workerman's shoes be spotless. But Cassius will kind of make his way back to one of those island eateries, and maybe you guys will purchase a bob or two or one of their cinnamon twists or something. And Cassius will sit down and go, Dangerous. Find out where we need to go next. Steps 3 and 4. 5 can now be revealed to the both of you.
Before,
What did I say? The both groups of you.
well, now we're longer.
He says, we're going to a nearby Pharaoh's temple. You see, when Amenhotep takes over, and he kind of like leans in and he goes, subjugates a kingdom, every major city they take over, they build 16 temples, one for each god nearby. It's their way to colonizationally mark their territory.
I raise my hand.
Oh, yes?
Well, aren't there like 16 gods just in general? Well, like 17,
There
but
you go. You have successfully put one and one
I
together.
think you said nearby, so that implies like
Yes, every city. What he's saying is every single city that they colonize, they put a temple to each god around the city.
oh, so there's
Yeah.
16. Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
around each city there's like
Sure.
every temple.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think anything like
So there's 16 temples throughout all.
Oh, yeah.
So I interpret.
Right. Okay, that's good. That's good. Good that we cleared that up.
See, how when
It's important thing. Because you can on us last time. I'm not talking. Because we
And I've merged his accent with the Hollish.
when it all
He says, the other problem is that these areas are, these temples are hard to pin down because they are coveted information that only the elites share amongst each other so that they can go and fraternize. I have 2 ways in, and if you can find your own way in, by all means go for it. He says, the first way in is the onward Runa fighting pits. I'll post that.
I definitely look at you when I go we're fighting. I want to see your reaction.
calm, collective, like you say, it's not like my inside.
He says, one of the top islands in the city is named Yadron Urchway. I'll post that in.
Thank you.
Well, any spelling that you guys come up with is good.
Yeah, because I definitely
Yep.
spell on more right.
I'm glad, right. If you have it right, that's inspiring.
No.
Okay. He says he is an Anin, which means he is a higher-ranking society and owns several taps. One tap in particular that he owns is named Thud the Indomitable. Oh shit, I posted that to us. This man, Thud the Indomitable, he is an unbeaten pit fighter here in Tifa Town. However, what most don't know is that Thud is an Anwar Runda fighter, which is a high society deathmatch cult, where people bring and beg on fighters, although they are mostly slaves. So, yeah, he explains what some of you may know is that the Anwar Runda is like a high society of hoity-toity people that aren't just secluded at Amatep. They go in between every single kingdom, and they essentially do fighting pits, like high society fighting pits, and they bet on them and everything. And he's saying that he potentially has an in with the fighter named Thud the Indomitable. He says, from the Adron or Chue, Thud the Indomitable gets out on his own and does his own fights in the slums of Tifa Town for fun. Rumor has it he has a pretty nasty soul shade addiction. Sneak him my soul shade, however, and this will severely lower his ability to fight, and one of you step into the ring with him, kill him, or just, I don't know, knock him out, submit him, whatever. And this will surely get you recognition of someone that will want the champion for tonight's fight. I think I failed to mention that. Tonight is the night that you need to find the location to this Theros shrine. And he says, once you've infiltrated this high society meeting, there you could make some deal about a fight in order to gain knowledge of the temple's location. Or you can use it as leverage to fight against a rematch against Stud if you wish, if he's still alive, and if I don't know you, or potentially you, Slaughter. He says, of course, there are several ways you can navigate this situation more than the one I just listed. But once you're in there, you're surrounded by weapons. Taking a fight in there might mean death for all of you. Alright. Yes, that is just my first one. I have one more in, if you wish. And he says, I call this Operation Addicted to Love. And he says, this option, there is an old military Haju general has just passed the Einthar trials and blown his fortune at one of the Axeline betting halls. His name is General Kinshaw. The Einthar trials, I mentioned earlier that Hallaju their king essentially abolished slavery. And as soon as Amenhotep took over again, one of the things they did is they did the Einthar trials to figure out which of the Hollywood generals were sympathetic towards abolishing slavery and which were like, no, we hated him in the first place. And anyone that passed these trials were allowed to stay as generals and keep their status. So General Himshaw has passed his status and is showing his fealty to Hajim. And Amenhotep, for that matter. He says, you see, Sumits value chirps. Amens value property and religion. But Habashu, they value luck. He says, this man used to be in charge of city planning in Azim, before Azim was obviously conquered and named Haukar by the Amens. Any temple surrounding the city would likely belong to him. However, he's not going to be in a chatty mood so long as his losing streak at the casinos are ongoing. But if one of you were able to be the reason that his luck turns around, then he would likely be willing to divulge the location of the Pharaoh's temple. And he says, as an end to this hook, I know the location of the employee entrance of the betting hall, and even a dealer's name and home address here in town, in Mulari town. And he says, my sources tell me she might even be willing to help, too. And he says, only one problem. Infiltrating an Anwar Ruga fighting pit match is relatively easy. Getting into a betting hall, however, is much more tricky. Axelines have put a lot of troops into making their games legit. You're able to read their employee pamphlet, their dossier. I hijacked a copy if you wish to see it. Anyone not posing as a guard or a dealer, however, will have to win their way up naturally in the games, leading up to the prestigious table. So, I will copy this and paste it to all of you. I will also now, out of character, answer any questions that you guys have pertaining to kind of what he just said and the two options. You will end by saying which you want to go to gain this info. You could also go and do whatever you want if you think you can find your own in. He goes, but if you want to split up into two groups and tackle it individually. 2 groups of 2. This will raise your likelihood of success. However, in the event a fight breaks out, you better be careful because you two are split up. You may be against some pretty insurmountable odds if you split up. But, again, you might double your likelihood of succeeding. Not to mention, both these plans are going down tonight. If you feel you have another way in, by all means, go for it.
So, out of character and all that. So, if we go the fighting ring, we get in, one of us fights the Indomitable, when he's
After we drug him.
I feel like I can tell these two Soulshade essence is a drug. Okay.
And then
you probably got that.
Thank you.
how if we beat him, and then how does that give us the link to the temple? That part I
So if you beat him in a battle, it's so formidable that that'll catch somebody's attention that
wants to
do and be like, bro, you need to come to tonight's game.
Gotcha.
Tonight's game is in the sequel.
It's not in the temple, but it's going to be held at. I guess I can tell you this. Cassius would say the famous estates at Holiday Estates is owned by Yodler and Birchway. So like the famous Holiday Estates, he owns them. So that's where the battle's going to be at.
Can you say?
Yeah.
Steps 3 through 5.
So that was just step 3.
Yeah. Step 3 is get the map to the city, which is what you're going to find at the Pharaoh's temple.
Okay.
And then step 4 is get to the city. Step 3 is find the map, find where the map's at. Step 4 is get the map. Step 5 is get to the city. You're going to the place that will get you the map.
Gotcha.
And like I said, if you guys want to do these separate and be like, oh, let's tackle this one, you're totally welcome to. That'll buy some puzzling time. But if you guys want to just go, all 4 people, one objective.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you guys talk about it. I'm gonna go to the bathroom, but
I'm fighting.
That's bad. I mean, it seems the easier option.
How are we gonna drug him?
What?
Sell it to him? Who looks like a drug? You look like a drug.
I can make a falling for journey.
I don't know if I overstated this part, but it probably would be most enticing to Akna. The second option of going into the gambling casino,
Mhm.
that would be a much more like
Bless you.
down. Bless you. You'd have to break down like
How
the dossier of how the organization conducts itself. Somebody like you, who's kind of like a mastermind,
Mhm.
be able to find the links in that area. You could be like, oh, we could get in here, we could get in
Mhm.
here, we could get in here. So that's very like a brainy, like, let's find our way in and find the holes in the organization.
And just go fight someone.
Yes, you are.
Also, do we feel like it's risky to try to go to the
The fighting ring,
States?
potentially, and
I feel like low lives, like we could maybe get by, maybe, but he said that we'd have a hard time getting into the estates earlier. Looking like this.
What if a prize fighter comes?
Well, that's option 1. So the question is, are we doing only option 1, or
We could split up.
do we do both to
are they both at the same time?
probably?
Practice both?
I imagine they'd
Yeah.
yeah.
It'd be the same time.
What do we
Also, the only other thing I'm wondering about with the fighting thing is, I guess, who would we be if you're going there to fight them? The rest of us would it just seem weird that we're there tagging along as well?
I mean, not.
You could be there watching, and then also
Spectator.
It'd probably be his family, right?
His corner.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
corner. Right. Healer.
Mhm.
Right. Manager. You know.
Because you can disguise yourself as any. So that's useful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what option gives us the most chance, because we either have to win a fight, which you'll have advantage if he's drugged. We have to make sure he gets drugged.
Mm-hmm.
Or
he does his own fights though, so I can go challenge him to one of the little indie fights,
I know that's
and then
gonna
sneak it into like his water or whatever.
yeah.
Well, it sounds like he has. Like
So we'll take him no matter what, or there's still a chance.
I'd say no matter what, it wouldn't take that much convincing.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine if
Roll, I feel like.
oh yeah, I mean, I could probably take on that role, either me or Altair.
Roll as in or
No, I know.
okay.
That's what I'm saying. Is I can take on
well,
because my performance and or persuasion,
It's fine.
it's
you have to give one to see though.
yeah. That my deception is also pretty good. But any of the above, because also if your disguised self,
Yeah,
to
if
help
we're
the
able to
situation.
figure out who his drug dealer is,
Yeah.
and then poison the well, literally.
Mm-hmm.
And then real quick, going to the other thing is, so we either have to win a fight, which it sounds like we'll have advantage if he's drunk, or we have to have luck
Mm-hmm.
if somebody ends up trying to be a player.
Yeah, it would be luck to get up to his table.
There are other ways to get to the table.
Yeah, there might be other ways to get to the
So he
table.
knows the dealer.
Mm-hmm.
He knows where her house is. So one of you could.
Yeah, but we ourselves would still need to get up to his table, correct, to get the information.
Yeah, probably, unless you are the dealer, or if you pretend to be one of the people working. That's kind of the thing where you would get the big
Mhm.
dossier
Of
of how the organization works. And if you want, I can give that. He has it, so he can give that to you, and you guys can look that over, then make your decision. It's totally up to you.
Yeah, I wanna see that real quickly.
real quickly.
How big is it?
But it's cool.
You guys, here we'll bring out, no problem. You can give me everyone can give me an investigation check, advantage for a mind master. And while you're looking it over, I will talk over something.
There's an 8, my good buddy.
14.
17.
Because I keep rolling with 16.
Okay. That's what I wanted.
Roll with my bad dice tonight. Really switch it up. This one was good last time.
Yeah.
So 17 was close. I have one that is a cheat code version. You will not get the cheat code.
Mm.
What you will get is the entire pamphlet. I have all of them.
Jesus.
Here you go.
That's awesome.
You can put this on the next page.
Well, one I did that one. I think I split them. I ran out of cardstock at some point, so one of them might be.
Jesus.
Which week is it?
It's till day.
Is that on there?
Cards for ribs.
And before you look through all of it, I would just say that it is definitely is like you have two avenues.
Mm-hmm.
The answers of how to pull off the perfect quote unquote heist, you go in there, and kind of thing is obviously in line.
Yeah.
Or you could go like, well, we got a fucking barbarian.
Easy.
We could also do the thing where two people split off and diagnose this thing and the best they can, and then two people start role playing immediately, and it's totally up to you guys. But yeah.
What time?
It is relatively early in the day. Call it noon, and you need to be there at 8.
Okay. This is very cool.
That's so much fun making this. This might be my favorite thing to do. It's like,
It's just the breakdown of everything. I like that it slowly turned.
And the DC was 18 to get the highlighted version, and I highlight all the useful information. But but at least you guys see your two paths in, right? Like one is much more heist, and one is much more like espionage battle. So whatever feels more interesting to you guys as a party, or split up and try to do both. But splitting up and trying to do both is the understanding that one group may have to just sprint out of there, or one group may potentially die if they get caught in a tricky scenario, because it's not easy.
Yeah, I would probably say we all stick together.
Yeah.
That seems. And we do have, as much as this does seem fun, it probably is simpler to go the barbarian route.
If we didn't have somebody that was so willing to
fight,
then it would be a different story.
Yeah, we have basically a bare knuckle brawler with us, and that's fair. I'm sure there will be more opportunities for stuff like this.
Cool. Is that the route you guys are going?
I do like zombie roll.
You like corn to roll them?
That's nice.
But yeah. Great. Good. I love it.
It's already illegal, so just look at this.
Yeah, you can just look at it as much as you want.
No, but
Awesome.
it says it's illegal.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
It's an official government document merely viewing the information if you are not approved.
You're right. Fine, I didn't know. It's like 4 months ago, so yesterday I was like, there's some jokes in there.
Yeah, you should turn yourself in.
Yeah, you probably should. So that's probably what you guys are leaning towards, is doing the onward room finding pits?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, now we will take a quick pit stop to explain the first of the 2 campaigns' hidden mechanics, which is companions. Cassius claims that he can join you in your escapades if you wish, or he can sit on the sidelines. It's totally up to you. Throughout this campaign, you will be getting the aid of multiple companions, and I will explain exactly how that works, because in previous campaigns, companions have been kind of tough to roleplay, because it's like, what do I do with them in combat? Like, how should they die? Like, should they die if somebody casts a fireball with you? And, like, what do you do? So I made a whole system that we're going to go over really quick. And then this will act for any companion that you meet in the campaign. And I will explain it to you, as this does not want to... Let's see. So, we will start by saying that companions in this campaign will have unique features outside of their normal roleplay. They will have abilities to perform during combat, as well as special rules around their deaths. Companions will be considered to be with the party unless you decide to state that they are staying back, or if they refuse somewhere. Now we'll talk about companions in battle. Companions must choose players must choose a single present companion to be the active companion for the turn in combat, and they may choose the same player or different companions on the companion's next turn in combat. All of that tells you is I'm going to roll 1 initiative for all your companions. When that, let's say it's 20, and he's the first one, immediately upon him coming up in combat, we're going to pass the companion coin around, but then I'll go, Avram, which companion is acting, and what ability are they using? And then you'll go, it's going to be Cassius, and he's using this ability. And I'll go, great. And then you'll make a check. The DC will be 15 plus whatever his modification is, and I'll show you that in a second, in order to use whatever ability he has. The benefits granted from the ability last until the start of the companion's next turn, or unless its usefulness has been exhausted. So if it's like, the next player to hit deals a critical, or whatever it is. If it takes 4 people and then it hits, then it takes all the way till his next turn, he has to roll again.
Gotcha.
Most companions will have multiple abilities. You may choose any ability that are unlocked to that companion. If they fail the check, the companions do nothing that turn. If they roll a natural 1, see the companion's dying section for rolling a threat roll. Companions are not placed on the map and do not interact with the battle in any other way otherwise stated by the Dungeon Master. So this is my kind of way to, go around the awkward, he's with us, and then he just got hit with a missile, so, or whatever it is, why is he not dying? But I still want to make them very useful, and for you guys to be like, oh, he actually saved us with that one ability that he used. Okay, leveling up companions, and this is where I will show you the example of Cassius, which will be your first companion. Okay, great. So, I will read this as I have this up on screen. Leveling up companions will have multiple abilities shown in their charts, starting on the left and increasing in power to the right. Why is that not blue? Oh, so on my screen. Okay, yeah. So on my screen, the whole left side is blue. It's probably the same for you guys, but the TV's doing something weird. So these are all unlocked. And then they upgrade to the right. Right? So player with the highest initiative gains 5 speed. If you upgrade to this, all players gain 5 speed. If you upgrade to this, one player uses dash, and you can use any of them on this thing that you've upgraded. Every time that you guys level up, you will get a level up for your companions as a whole. So you could choose him, or you could choose somebody else. The bottom tier here is his modifier to that DC 15 roll on his turn. So if you wanted to, you guys are level 4, you will get 4 level ups immediately upon us ending this conversation with him. So you could go 1, 2, 3, and now he's rolling with a +5 to do any of these things, right?
So each thing is a level up. It's not by chart 1, 2. It's one of them.
Yeah. So you could so you get 4. You could do one of these 4. And if you do this one, now you get this one, this one, this one, this one. Right? So, okay. Each time the party levels up, they can level up one companion's ability or the companion's ability mod. They can reallocate all level ups each time they level up. So, you guys hit level 5. But when you hit level 5, you see the companion, and he has his own chart. You can now go, well, we already spent all of these to get him to +5, but this new companion has this really cool ability. You can just reallocate all the points you have spent to the if you want
to reset and then.
Yep.
Okay.
You just can't take away any of the stuff that they start with on level 1.
Gotcha.
Great. So that's all of that. Companions staying away. The party can also have the companions stay out of combat completely, but it must be stated before the battle. This means that they cannot give aid with their abilities, but it does mean that they cannot die. When the party does this, that companion is no longer a quote-unquote present companion. So, like, if you care about Cassius and you're going to go into a battle that you think is going to be hard, you can be like, Cassius, stay out. Like, okay, fine. But if you're all about to die and you want him to stay out, it's too late. Okay, now companions dying. We're almost done, but I appreciate this, guys, and I hope this is going to make the game a little bit more fun in the end. Companions dying. Battling causes a threat to your companions. This threat will be represented each time a player character drops to 0 HP. That's you guys. Or the companion rolls a 0 or a 1, it should be a 1, on their check. When this happens, when this happens, you will roll on this chart. So, Abram, let's assume you have 4 companions. Roll D6, half it, and give me that number, which is essentially D3.
Uno.
Uno, your favorite companion. Let's assume that it's Cassius, and that would be that. Or let's say you have 6 companions, and it was a random, it would be your active companion. Your active companion is whatever companion you chose to use their ability on that turn. Or a random present companion. So, that's who will be in threat of dying if Abram goes down in combat. And then what we do is we roll a d20. The DC for this roll will be 2, meaning you can only fail on a critical failure, plus 3 for each time the player that you guys have gone down since the last long rest. The player rolled on the companion chart, which is the D3, dies if that's a failed roll. And if a companion dies, all of their level ups that you guys have given them will die with them, and they cannot be reallocated then or at any subsequent level ups. Though this is the main way companions are threatened, it is important to note that there may be special cases where they can be seriously threatened by story elements, or if you guys make actions and have crazy actions that lead to consequences. This is a rule set intended to act as, or this is a rule set not intended to act as plot armor. So if you guys are like, oh, we can actually just use Cassius and throw him at stuff, like in a trap, and see if it goes off, so he'll just die. Lastly, is to clarify the terms. The favored companion term is the most unique. A favored companion is the party's most loved or useful NPC companion. The party must choose their favored companion and must only have one. They can change it at any time outside of combat. Favored companions always have their next level of their companion mod unlocked, which would be the plus 2 or whatever. He would automatically get a +1 to the, or whatever his next bracket is. Each time the party levels up, their favorite companion rolls a check as normally would in combat. If he succeeds this check, he gets an additional level up on his own that you guys don't have to allocate. So that's how your favorite companion goes. I imagine you'd start with Cassius because he's your only companion. If you get more later, you can be like, I like this guy way more. Let's choose him. You got cooler abilities or whatever it is. Next is the active companion. The active companion is the companion that has acted last during combat. If there hasn't been one, then it's your favorite companion. Last of the terms is a present companion, is a companion that is at the same location of the party. So, reason. Okay, great. Last thing. Sorry, guys, I appreciate it. Did I just do this twice? Companions and roleplay companions and companions ability. The player who rolled the highest in the initiative will be given the companion's coin. This player, I already kind of told you that. This player will choose what the companion is. This is so that like everyone doesn't go, oh, who do we want to choose as our companion? What ability do we want? Because you're going to have, maybe late campaign, you might have 20 options. So like Abram just goes, hey, we're choosing Cassius, we're choosing this ability, and then we just roll for it. But then as soon as Abram's done, he hands the coin to Hayden, and Hayden now gets to look at the companion list and it's not his turn and go, oh, this guy's would be useful right now, or whatever it is. Cool.
Override.
You do on your turn, right? So, great. or on the companion stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Lastly, companions in roleplay. Companions in roleplay will rarely speak unless spoken to. However, they make their own opinions about certain decisions or topics. Companions that disagree with the group may leave the party. If this happens, you gain all your numbers back. That's right, no problem. Do you guys have any questions?
Is there, so you were saying, so there's the companion chart, there's 3 things on there. We eventually make it up to 20 companions. At all times, can we choose from those abilities, even though there's only 3? So we have to technically have 20 people with us present. But to use those abilities.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So we're not going to really worry about it in terms of like roleplay.
Right. We're not going to be like, so we get a carriage. We're not going to fit in the carriage.
And we're saying that this is not a spoiler. The campaign will have a home base, which is going to be a non-conventional home base. That's where you have
3 like go and go.
Well, you guys will be like, hey, Cassius, this guy,
Mm-hmm.
or this guy's girl. Let's roll out right now, and we're gonna go hit this one thing that we know we're gonna need to do. We're gonna have to do this one element that we're gonna need you for. You just take that.
Sweet, I like it.
Okay.
I
Cool.
think that makes
So
sense.
most companions, I will say, he's like the magnum opus companion. He's the OG. Most of them are just gonna have one line here and one line.
Gotcha.
He's like the OG companion, so he's got 3 separate ones.
Gotcha. But most companions are really only going to have 4 abilities.
Yep. So, and if this gets too complicated, we can nix it. But I think we'll add some interesting.
I like it. I definitely sense the video game track. You have like equip.
Totally.
Exactly. Yeah.
Armor equips or whatever.
100%. So what we're going to start is I'm going to start a chat.
Cash just grab a card.
A card?
Yeah, from the deck.
I changed a lot of those. That's not going to be accurate, but
So pretty.
I am going to create a.
Hold on and see what you would do.
I'm going to create a companions chat where I'm going to be posting them.
Probably.
But you guys get 4 level ups for this companion.
Nice. Oh yeah, to allocate right now, and then we can reallocate whenever we want.
Yeah, and I think I'm even. Yeah, it's already in it. So 4 caches. Yeah. What would you like to update him with? You get 4 upgrades. Maybe we need to make that a darker.
Can I see what I would have done?
What do you get?
It's called like Uriel. It's like the Medusa card. You take a -2 penalty on saving throws while cursed in this way. Only a god or the Magic of the Fates card can end the curse.
I think I changed that one, so that would have been different. But
It was still bad though.
it was still bad. So you guys get to decide what you want to upgrade him with. You get 4 upgrades. Remember that next time you get another companion, once you level up, you get to reallocate all those. If you don't, if you're
So
like,
if we level up, we can reallocate, not just at any. Okay, that I didn't.
Yeah, if you want to switch your favorite, is that what's the name of that?
Comment.
If you single-handedly defeat the next hostile monster or group of monsters you encounter, you gain experience points enough to gain 1 level. Not bad. You would still have to go fight single-handedly, but
No, I think mine was that you just all that.
oh, nice. So, yeah.
Those are cool.
Yeah, they're really
Super
cool.
fun. Super fun.
Yeah.
Well, thanks guys for sitting through that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this will make the campaign interesting.
No, I like it.
Cool.
I like this aspect.
Yeah, it makes more. You can't make companions more than just NPCs where you're like, no, I want to take this guy because he actually has this really unique thing where, whatever.
Or just bodies for fodder.
Sure. Sure. The problem is when they start dying and you're like, I actually don't want to die. That ability is really strong, or I like the way he. Yeah. Whatever.
So, do we want to upgrade his? Also, if we did like 2 level ups for him, would we then have 2 level ups banked for the next time?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
We might as well just use them all.
I have a bunch of NPCs. Every single NPC I have, but also if you guys make an NPC out of somebody that I didn't have that was conventional, I'll work on the fly and create a new chart for them. So,
Dude. So Punjab.
If you want, I'll make a little bit of
Get sun instead.
That's to hog your PJ.
Yeah.
Get him.
Great. Cool.
Yeah. So what do we? Can we
There's a Bravo.
jump around and get any of these abilities?
Yep. No, you have to go in order. On the
So we would have to get 3. Or we can just do the top level.
Yeah.
Or we can do the level.
24 of these. Let's say you go with the top one. Now you can do this one, this one, this one, or you can keep going on this bracket.
Gotcha.
Okay, I get it. So I earnestly, do we need to choose what player gets the 2d6?
One player gains 2d6.
Oh, yeah. I was about to say, help one.
Okay.
Remember that it was a lot of us use dash a lot. So as a free action.
Not bad.
Well, so if we do this, we do a +4. That's a DC 15. He's gonna roll. That's a 55% chance to get 2d6 health a turn.
Which is pretty.
Yeah.
Fucking
So
great.
we're talking an average of 4 health per turn.
Yeah.
Which is probably the most that we're gonna get out of it. I can't imagine.
Thank you.
The only other one that I would want to say would just be the advantage. But even then, there's a lot of things that can give us advantage, but there's very
few that can just give us
free health, and not to say limitless health, but really limitless health.
Yeah.
So
with what is that, a DC 19 or whatever? Or is it just? I thought you were saying
it's a DC 15.
That's for cage ball. It's always a DC.
So on a less than
Yeah.
or higher, which is still a pretty good chance of the 45% chance.
Yeah.
It's also kind of my excuse to throw hard combats at you and be like, I keep you alive. And like, I think he goes to say that if like Avram runs 400 feet out of combat and everyone stays down here for whatever reason, like I might rule that he can't heal Avram 400 feet away or whatever. So
Yeah, that's fair.
Limits, but I'll try to let you know before you decide.
So are you thinking we go middle row?
Yeah.
And think of it as so like as a 3, and then we all do the health one, and everybody gains HP.
Well, so although that'd be nice, like 2d6. 2d6 is around the same as 1 HP in terms of just pure numbers, but rarely are all 4 of us going to be injured. So
The need.
so
That's one.
So usually by the end of the first turn, somebody can be at least injured. So that means that 2d6 will go to them. Then sometimes it rotates around.
Yeah.
So I'd say the 1 HP for everybody might be a little bit less strong than the 2d6 for one player.
So we do 2 middle row and then the 2 bottom row.
That's what I.
If you make him your favorite companion, you additionally get 1 free on the bottom. Unlocks one.
Oh yeah. So then we could get something else.
And then.
Or we could just do it together.
And then
So one extra.
every other turn, we're getting at least 4.
Yeah. I'd probably agree there.
Yeah, that's smart.
So
And in the future, we keep having everybody getting injured a lot to the point of like, oh my god, we're all gonna die. Then we can do the 1 HP thing.
Right, it's nice when you're getting TPK and you're like, we all need to just get up.
get
Yeah.
up.
Sure.
I also am gonna hold the right to like realize that 2d6 is way too powerful at some point. Like I'm gonna lower that to 2d4 or whatever I might, but I like the game breaky aspect of it too.
All right. Yeah, I'd say
We're making our favorites, so boost them to 3. And then we put 1 on the +4, and then we do 1 player gains 2. We'll have to 1 player gains 2 d6.
Great.
And then we have 1 more that we want to do, or do we want to put it on +5?
You'll get that'll be all 4 if you.
That would be. I thought we were making him our favorite, so he gains.
When you go all the way up to he gain +3 automatically, and then you do the 2 additional to 5. And then
potentially we're saying
we have 1 for this to play with, and so
I mean, I can't see. The other skills being as useful as the 2d6 health.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that all players gain 5 speed one is just for that round, or does that continue through?
Rest of the round.
Then yeah, probably just the plus 5.
Cool. That's what we'll do then. I'll figure out how to color it in later. But
All right.
Sweet.
well, you guys then are going to continue on and attempt to infiltrate the Anwar Rune fighting pits. Love it.
Do we know?
Dealing drugs.
Yeah, someone has symptoms of soul shade.
Can you give me a medicine check?
I'll ask him too.
Okay, great.
After I go to the check. 5.
5. Okay. He'll let you know, and then you'll kind of pitch in a couple of your own ideas that he'll shoot down and be like, no, that's not how it works. But he'll say, it's concentrated swells. So the way those work is they warp your brain. It's a hallucinogen of some sort. But it also may have a undecided, chaotic, magical component to it. But for the most part, people just go and they trip balls.
Now, if I wanted to look like a junkie, what would I look like?
Are you in Hollow form or are you in the Altair?
I'm an Altair.
And he goes, just a couple of feathers out. And you're almost already
Okay,
there.
now if I want to be a Hollow, what do I have to do?
Lose a lot of weight. And lose your status. And have a backstory about how you fell from the graces.
Okay.
I should be in Tifa Town. So if you're a Hollow in Tifa Town, because Tifa is the slave town.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's where he's from. So if you walk in as like a Hollow, which is normally just the high source, yeah, you should have a story about that.
He should be the drug dealer because he has the persuasion and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Take his makeup off.
Well, I'm going to find a dealer.
Who likes all the juice?
He said he's got one little vial that all you need to do is slip.
Yeah. We have to give him the drugs, and he has to take the drugs.
And I know that. Are you pretending to be a dealer? Are you trying to give the drugs to the dealer to sell him?
I was thinking about trying to figure out who his dealer is, and then pretending to be his dealer.
No,
It would be really fun.
Let's come up with a special one.
Before a fight, right?
That's how you can keep going. How does Robert feel about beating up on a dude that is drugged up?
For the good of the mission, but at the same time, it's like very. It's a fight purpose law because he wants a good, clean, fair fight.
Right. Okay.
But he will do it for the good of the mission. He just won't like it.
I like that. Okay. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Rachel.
No, just mention.
That being said, there are several places in this town that you guys can go and visit on your way to becoming a Tifa fighter or a Anwar Runa fighter. First of which, you guys might begin to think, okay, so he's obviously going to be a fighter. You may be whatever the druggie, whatever his druggie is, but who's going to be the ownership of the fighter here? Or is he going to be kind of
The owner, and then we need you to
Be a drug
be
dealer.
a little drug dealer.
And I will be the. Would it make sense for me to be a healer, or should I have a different?
No, you can be the medic. That's fine.
I think that's fine.
And we're here because you've heard of this fighter's skills from far and wide, and you wanted to come. Him?
So normally a fighter is the lowest rung, and there's somebody that like owns the fighter that like
So he likes I got my golden horse. I'm gonna face your golden horse or whatever.
So
Yeah.
what would you look like if you were the
Wait, hollow shoe.
I mean,
Nice.
from anywhere. It's like knows no kingdom.
I'll probably stick with just being myself, right?
So would I need to like do anything to look more like a slave at this point, or what?
You can actually give me a history check as it pertains to like what is this like underground fighting.
There's a 15.
Ooh, I like a 15.
14.
also 14?
15.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
You should do a little think tank, and you put all your little bits and pieces of information together as a group bonding exercise, and you can all come together and realize a couple of tent poles about on Warunya fighting and how it pertains to the Halaju culture specifically. First off, any Anwa Runda fighter in Halaju needs to learn the Rafa, which is a dance that is performed before every sanctioned Anwa Runda fight. So you need to learn how to do that. That's one, like, for sure. And second is that they're normally conducted where, like, the fighter will get introduced, he will get a physical, where the fighter's, examiner will be present, which will probably be somebody like you. And then they often, if they're traveling to an area that they're not foreign in, they will have a emissary that will be on their payroll, which potentially could be an Okna type character that's like, oh, I know Amin. I'll show you around and everything. And then he might actually be the person that's like, oh, I put all the gigs together. I figure out the payment, travel, and everything. But the most important thing would be if you're in Halaju, you're going to have to do this Rafa dance. And then also when the fight takes place, he's going to go through a physical. And then normally what's going to happen is, and you should know that there's a risk of death. Normally, the way they go is there's like 8 or 10 or 12 or sometimes 16 fighters. But in the first preliminary battles are not to the death. But the very final fight, where the two will bring their best, will be to the death. Be wary of that. And the final piece of information is if you're in a slave kingdom, it's kind of customary that you act like, even if you do, you act like you don't care about your fighting. So, like, if your life is on the line in the very final battle, it would not be very respectful for Altair to want you to live. If they're like, no, you shouldn't care about us.
I have one more question.
Yes.
All of those things apply to the, like, street fights or whatever that this guy's doing?
Almost none of that does. Yeah. It's a great question. This guy just goes out on his own and just does street fights.
Nice.
So, yeah. Yeah. Where it's just like two boys just beating each other down.
Cool.
Yeah. Great. Well, you guys know that the street fights happen in Tifa Town. So you can head there first if you wish, or if you guys, Rafa Town kind of speaks more about the Holiday Lane area, where it's like much more festive and much more celebratory about culture, whether it's Halaju or Amun culture. So if there's ever going to be somewhere where you could learn how to do a cultural Halaju dance, it'll be in Holiday Town. So.
Maybe we would go do that before you potentially are kind of beaten and bloody, from the fight, if we're going to go be respectable for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Okay, to the Holiday Lane first. You're not taking up your offer to go to the Iron Branch. We love it.
No.
Great.
No.
What's your offer?
Sonora.
Oh shit, I didn't mean to post that.
That's it.
Okay. You guys will see an image of Holiday Lane. Boy, if you thought that the old avenues of Maifu Memorial Pass were festive, you guys will surely be proven to be wrong. As you guys walk down, like, the area that is the most culturally relevant and the most, kind of like, linchpin directory about what it means to be a Halaju. As the music incredibly kicks up, and you find a couple of very interesting things that catch your attention that you guys can do. If you want to fit in the culture whatsoever, you would be hard pressed not to appear at the play that happens every hour here in Holiday Lane. That'll give you a really good insight on how the people of the Hollows you think. Tickets are 75 chirps. And you do think that this would potentially impact your ability to talk with anyone of the Hology culture if you get an insight on like it's essentially viewing play propaganda. The second thing is that after some looking, you will find Rafa lessons. They are a bit more expensive at 500 chirps per for a lesson. But it will give you some decent insight on like actually how to attempt it. So you don't just look like a complete idiot when they're like, oh, and you're like, what? So what are you guys thinking about doing for first if you only have a few hours here?
Because it's technically like a Holoju tradition, and none of them are technically Holoju, would it be accepted that he wouldn't do it perfectly, but he would still like try and do it, basically?
I mean, you're not sure. They maybe cutthroat and be like, oh, you've entered our community. You better hold to our standards, or they might give you leniency.
Okay. It's probably worth just splitting the amount and having the class. Or we can go do the play. It's cheap, and we can see if there's representations there.
Use some slots if you want.
Let's split up.
Mm-hmm.
Do the dances.
Yeah.
And then we'll go look at the play. Is there anything else big here?
No, there's just a couple of shops if you guys wanted to look at some of the more weird shops. But no, for the most part, that's going to be the only two things. And I might throw a couple.
Would the weird shops have anything useful?
It would be one of the things where you would say, I want to go look for this.
Is there fighters like attire that I'm supposed to be wearing? Or is it just like gladiator? Like
It's going to be very minimal clothes, so probably what you're already dressed in.
okay.
They're not going to allow you to walk in and like full.
Well, I didn't know if there was like a traditional like outfit or whatever.
So that is a great question. You will walk by a stand that says like Rafa plates. You're kind of like, you know that name because of the conversation you just had. You're like, what are these? And then you realize through looking at this place is that like part of the dance is holding your arms up while weights are draped on your arms, and then continuing the dance holding your arms up. So these are decorative plates.
Gotcha.
That we need to get.
I mean, you don't have to, but
Oh.
like I'm trying to go on your thing of like if I enter with my own decorative plates, I'm like, is it good?
Mm-hmm.
What's about 75 troops?
Probably go, because if you don't do it amazingly, it might go a little farther that you're at least like in the traditional, you know.
Exactly.
So
You buy those?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Great. Who's part of the group or the play, and who's going to the lessons?
I'm
You guys
going.
decided you split up.
go to the lesson.
Well, lesson as well.
Are we all going to spend 500? All right.
No, I'm sorry, not the lessons. I'm gonna go to the play.
Play.
Are you guys on the lesson?
Figure it might be good to have two of us do it. I don't know.
I'll go to the play.
Great. The two people that are deciding to go to the play, on your way over there, you start hearing screaming. This will be Sora, and this will be Altair.
Yep.
Like Bloody Mary screaming outside the house, and it's a fancy house as you walk up. And it sounds like a woman that's screaming inside the house.
What cadence is it? Like, is it I'm gonna die? Is it like get out of my house?
It does seem like it's in pain.
In pain.
Yes, but it comes and goes in spurts.
As
Yeah.
a healer, would I
Oh.
have some insight into pain
You
screens?
can get a medicine check with it.
As a woman.
Think first. Okay, you said with advantage?
Yeah.
Oh, because of coming and going.
16.
16. I will tell you that she is giving birth.
Ah, there you go.
Where you're like just kind of like walking by like whatever. But then the most telling piece of information is there are 18 in like 2 rows of 9. There are 18 almonds weeping outside in like an arched formation outside the front door.
And it's a very fancy house.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that's like watching this?
A couple of Hollish guys are like snickering and whispering to each other about what's going on, but
Can I are you Mr. Kajim? And can I walk over the group and just kind of just like do the classic like hands on hips, kind of looking at it.
yeah, totally forgot. The next speaking, and then we'll look over like, who's trying to lots?
Yeah, I know. I don't speak it.
You guys can give a history check if you want to try to figure out why all these people are like crying and screaming outside of their house. Do you know this? Very obscure reference. I might have even made it, but
Mine's a 15.
13.
15 is good enough to know.
Wait, is it what did you ask for history? With a number. Okay, now we'll use that.
Well, you guys were both, but 15, you'll both know that almonds, that you're particularly like, oh, this is kind of a culture birth for you guys to realize, like, oh, we are dealing with different ilk of people. Because mainly the almonds, especially the highly religious almonds, cry during birth and celebrate during death. Because they believe that birth is essentially your servitude away from the heavens. So, like, you're being ripped from heaven and placed on Pardis, which is the earth, and you're being now forced to serve where there are people that live in damnation. And then eventually, once you die, we will then celebrate that death because you get to return back to heaven. So these people are crying for the baby because the baby's just been ripped from heaven.
What a beautiful microcosm of the whole entire.
Do you remember us making that?
You're getting hit now.
So it's just kind of a weird moment where you guys walk past it. But you then get to play. This is a virtual play. And this is the playgrounds itself. As we'll enter
In those playgrounds.
Then I'll go back to bird.
You'll go what?
Go back to bird.
Go back to bird form?
Yeah.
Okay, great. It's 75
I return to bird.
to enter the play.
Yeah, I hate mine.
Okay, great. Okay, well, I don't think this would be a Rime campaign if I didn't make you guys perform the play, right? Well, I've had to, so this is a good learning lesson.
I have never been. Things that we're doing nothing.
I had to pay for it in practice.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you have to pay for it and act. But apparently my dumb working the actors with this. We don't have a break.
Hey, bro.
You're not gonna share one.
But we're not.
What's going on? You're acting in For sure. We have seen direction. Wake up. You're acting in it. You have a route behind you. Still running.
Oh, really?
17. City of English. You're gonna see for Athens. So you're gonna speak. Oh, I guess I have a knight. Don't look at your lines here. I have a knight, who is a almond knight. Here we found it. We're back. I have a Hollish general, and then I have there's only 3 characters. Then I have a Denart rebellion, and I have the scene direction. What are you guys gonna play? How this? Roll D20, and then whoever gets highest will play.
Oh, I got an at 20.
Nice.
That was a 1.
Let's go with the coolest one.
Racing. The best one I think is going to be the most famous character in this play is Pierre.
Oh, Pierre.
Yes.
So Pierre, what is he?
He's Denart.
He's Dinar. Oh.
The whole the story. Pierre's fall.
Yes.
And actual I don't. Okay.
But
I think I might.
Great. Who got higher than a 1?
I got
Yeah. Okay, great. 6, you can either be stage direction, which you can be on the underlined lines. You gotta really get it though. Or you can be the Amentet Knight. I'm only playing the Abram because that's his kingdom of Udar. Or you could be General Nadine, which is a female. Also, correction, I looked it up. Virginia, their second ever queen was a female.
Really?
Yeah, so they were the first. Who did you say to General Nadine? Who would you like to be?
I'll do the scene direction.
Okay, so you're the Knight Udar.
Nice.
Before you guys go in, your characters would know about this moment. Setting the scene without. I don't think I'm ruining any of the scene direction here. This is in the very end of the Second Betrayer War. Amentet is fighting a war against Dinartha, and they're fighting the very final battle at this massive wall called the Bulwark, where Amentet is holding the line against Dinartha's attack. Dinartha feels like they're fighting against slavery, and if they win this battle, they'll probably push south and abolish slavery in all of the kingdoms. Amentet feels like it's a religious war, and that if they hold the Bulwark, then they can keep their traditions alive, which clearly they do at some point. And you guys know that this play is probably used as propaganda in these parts, and if you leave anywhere outside of Amentet, Pierre is seen as a valiant hero. However, inside of Amentet, where you're at, he's probably seen as some sort of exempt. With the being said, we will start with scene direction.
Okay. The top of the battlements of the volcanic fortress wall of the bulwark at Ontus. Lava flows down the mountainside, casting an eerie glow as it incinerates the fighters underneath. Smoke and ash fill the air. The fortress is under siege by the Dinarts, a vile enemy who wishes to hold Ontus supremely and slaughter every limb of the tri-fortresses. 3 heroes, the Amen Knight of Cain, General Udar, the Halaju General Nadiv, stand as protectors. They talk about the Dinian coup that has just commenced down below the battlements. These 2 valiant generals fight together once more now that the relationship between Amenhotep and Hajim has been mended, stronger than ever. Though Dinartha in the end stood no match to House Hajim, they did manage to climb the fortress walls for final defeat. Enter Knight Udar, General Nadiv.
The Guineans have stalled the release of Luna's ghost. They've turned our trust and love for our own against us.
There's a looters, Knight Udar. It's a disgrace to the great Setsi Zane that they are fortunate enough to have dragon's blood in them. I would be scaled them myself if given commands. But worry not, brother. The might of all our bulwark is unrivaled. The might of the Dinian treachery or the Dinar his fleet they probably Ontus will hold. Our ancestors' spirits watch over us.
Don't be foolish with you. Underestimating the knife's third blue skin is exactly what lost us the battle of wrong. Buried. No, here. Giant others. If they can't tell him, they steal from my channel. To make sure, if the moment comes to strike, you won't hesitate.
I won't. By all modes might, I promise you this.
It's not
Victory?
Red Bernards.
Maybe you gotta read that last one.
Okay, you wasn't underlined, so it's still not.
This one.
Its 3 warriors stand firm, watching the battle below, confident in the fortress's strength. On the back ones.
I can read this. I'll read this.
Pitch in.
Yeah. This is so much fun. for the campaign, I'm gonna subjugate you guys to perform the play for me.
A Raiders theater.
What were you saying when I did the address? It's punishment.
A little bit. I'm sorry.
What did I end up saying?
The two.
I was like,
It's one denied. He's the only one that failed, and I gave him advantage. He failed the check to know it. Not his brain. He did.
it's like not even knowing the start thing with band. I mean, I have to
Act two.
Okay. Scene. The same battlements. The sound of battle are loud. The three defenders are still at their posts. Suddenly, Pierre somehow, against all odds, climbed over the roof and is atop the battlements across from Knight Udar and General Nadiv.
Enter Opierre, struggling but determined, climbing over the battlements and confronting the defenders.
like I was when they have to defend themselves to some woman and sortie.
Aren't I a woman?
Yeah,
Drawing his sword.
I don't know. There's three of you guys.
These are professional travelers in proper grammar.
Every time I have a fucking.
Listen,
Oh, nice.
don't they teach history in the Lakelands? You're standing in front of the grand kin of the Tolata the Great. Besides, you look tired, boy. Sure you don't need a breath before we marry?
Truth to say, I'm impressed. You came all this way. Great fine. What is it? 380 feet? Ha!
You'd have better odds surviving the fall than to face us, boy.
What's over the edge? He just climbed.
Sure. That will be one mistake. He's letting the battlefield below with a lake of lava. That's the not soon. Even lava. It's unleashed from wonder. Jesus. Here's the bottom of the people. It is he who will rise from the bulwark to ashes.
Opierre attacks fiercely. Knight Udar and General Nadiv engage in combat with him. Clash is intense, with Opierre showing surprising strength and skill.
Oh, my match.
His strength is formidable. We must act together.
In the struggle. Okay, that is not the name. The chance. They move together and manage to force Opierre towards the edge of the battlements. Despite these efforts, Opierre loses his footing. Opierre is pushed over the edge of the battlement. The crowd gasps for real. He failed to attack him on the fast. Just that next. All like oh sorry. Act two. You're gonna stop working.
Act 3. The Descent. The sky and lava of the volcano as seen from the falling perspective. Opierre is falling from the battlements, his voice echoing with emotion and despair.
All lights turn out. The drapes around the stage fall, darkening the room. Only a single red light lights the Denard's face. His voice echoes as he speaks his final monologue.
Opierre.
Like, you're just laying on the ground, or like up against a wall, and it's just you falling doing this.
Imagine because they have long hair, right? Most of it, like those like people like taking like.
Okay.
So let's standing up. So
Probably not high theater.
You're a fool. I want your soul cast down. You're a pawn in the games of gods and men. My fingers grasp the void of that failed to exist, and I embrace the end. For in this descent, I find not fear but purpose. Fire of fate, how you conspire against me. But I welcome your embrace, for I have seen the light of the true light, the true light of gloom that shines in the below. The shadows are good. A blessed God, cloaked in fire, reigns once more. And I cry out for his dominion to claim what is ours. The Denarts, my kin, my blood. We have languished in the waters of weighted servitude. While the kingdoms adored in their gleaming glory, thriving upon the backs of the downtrodden. Travel before the flames of retribution. Let fire consume their homes.
Reduce the sanctuary to cinders and watch their laughter turn to screams. For every honest man and woman, for every honest breath taken under my rights, is a dagger thrust into the hearts of our long-lost ones. They toil, they build, and yet they remain blind. The darkness that festers beneath their golden crowns. What do they know of sacrifice? What do they know of power? Their lies are gilded lies, but we, the Denots, dwell in the shadows of their greatness. I seek not merely revenge but transformation. I wish for the flames to rise and cleanse Partis, to burn away their ignorance and reveal the truth. We have played on his egg and veil. It's like all powerful. I was like, yeah. This region would be to stand amongst the ruins of their civilizations, to witness the fall of those who have thought themselves untouchable. Let chaos reign, let it spill over, and from the depths of despair we shall rise. My scent may be nearing its end, but my spirit shall linger, and echo in the fires of destruction. I do not fear death, I embrace it, for all hell awaits me. For though my demise, I summon the next wave, and call upon the god of destruction or claim his molten throne. As I fall, I know the Donuts shall wield the power of magic unbound, and with it we shall forge a new world, one where the weak are no longer shackled by the chains of good. So let me plummet into the molten maw, let my sacrifice fuel the inferno, for in the ashes of this realm a new order shall rise, and the true nature of power shall be loomed.
And then the crowd just goes split screen, just booing you as much as you can.
Yeah.
And the lights will dim, and that would be the end of the play.
Like, I was wondering if the action would go away.
We'll move on fast.
Right.
Guys.
Sort of like a hall issue wearing like blue paint.
Yeah, stilts.
Slave they found that they were like, listen, bro, if you just do this for us, we'll actually give you a hat raise. It's like, yeah. But that gives you a little insight, nonetheless, about how they view the last war and.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like feeding her essentially what I believe is the truth, the Tellergian way.
Yeah. What is that?
That it's a lot more complicated than that,
Mm-hmm.
and that all the kingdoms are moronic and stupid, and every single one of them should have the power that they have. Yeah, no one's treating it with respect.
Yeah.
I'm like super anti-kingdom in this feel.
It's kind of the Telosian way,
Yes.
because they created city-states.
Yes.
Well,
In that every kingdom has screwed over every kingdom. It will go on till the end of time, because that is like the natural state of man. Yes.
awesome.
It's the only constant.
Beautiful. Well, we'll end the session with you two going to the Rafa. It's going to be a lot less ceremonial than that. You guys will spend 500 chirps each.
Check it out.
Beautiful. Thank you, guys. Actually, no, let's do this. So you guys will learn that the Rafa in the Holoshu. You will learn that the Rafa is a Holoshu ritual where the dancers will put weights on their arms. You already figured that out. They'll hold them up and prance around in the ring, and the Munatis, normally who's the slave owners, will spray oil on them during their performance if they think that that person is doing poorly. So they'll pick somebody out and spray oil on them. And that whoever leaves the match the driest is the one who did best. And so you will kind of learn your ways, you both will, and I will say that you guys will have advantage on a performance check when it comes time to decipher how to do this dance correctly later on. However, as you're leaving, you will be heading out, and you will be kind of chatting with the dance instructor at the end, and he will say, he will essentially be like, you guys can use my studio. I'm going to leave, but you can use it to use some of the weights, and you guys being dedicated and not wanting to mess this up might want to stay after for a few minutes. And he will leave, and he says, the door's locked. Just don't steal anything. I will know the next day, and I will find you. And then he leaves. As you guys both stand there, there was a giant mirror in the back of the room that you can kind of dance and see your performance. And you're probably both very tired and fatigued from holding these weights up the whole time. But in the mirror only, not actually standing between you, you will see a glowing blue hand that would just be spectrally floating. it would then shoot to the ground at somebody's, essentially somebody's gym bag. It's a leather kind of sad bag that sits with many items on it.
I'll look back. So the doors are closed. So I imagine because it's, back then, there's not like big windows or anything. It's probably pretty.
Yeah, just the one near the door. It's probably
Mhm.
4-pane windows. If somebody's
Mhm.
walking by, they could see, but
I'll go up to the bag and all open it.
Right. You will open it and you will see a little scroll that is furled up. And as soon as you open it, you will just hear a breath as you open it.
I'll pull out the note scroll.
It will seem to be a second journal entry, similar to the one that you guys found aboard the ship. And this is what we will end our session on. I'm going to find the first entry and post it into a new chat labeled journal entries. This is the first entry. You now have found, I hesitate to say the second, because...
Wait, I don't
This
think
was entry 10.
Oh, that's a new one. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll hear it. Okay, that's fine. It's hesitate to say it.
Oh, yeah.
What'd you say?
That's access.
Yeah, I don't think this is the companions either.
Well, that's good to know. Okay. Well, I can do that later. I'll do that. Actually, hold on. I think I can. Permissions. Here we go. Add members. Team Bravo. Added all Team Bravo to journal entries, which hopefully now on your devices.
So we have entry 1 and entry 10.
Yes. This one that you've just received is entry 10. I've also added you all to companions. If hopefully you guys get that in a second. This entry is entry 10. And here it is. I think it's also beneficial. Somebody did this in the other group where they just read it aloud, which kind of was better than everyone sitting in silence reading it themselves. So one of you two that's actually there can decide to read it aloud.
Read it. First trial speaks of a soul-binding ritual in order to form a phylactery. It is crude, dark magic, but I've adapted it to be less malicious. At least that was the intent. I used a small animal for the trial, an injured bird. Binding was successful. I felt a tinge of guilt, but it was fleeting. It's just a bird. Whose phylactery houses the souls of the innocent. If I am to destroy such evil, I must understand this process deeply. There was no suffering in the bird. Surprisingly, it was peaceful. And now I know how a soul can be consumed. Without a fully fledged phylactery or a vessel to channel.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good. Her soul was rogue, hard to contain. It stung and lingered like a hollow juice spice, but I found myself brimming with some unexplainable feeling. Stars above.
Great.
Yeah, I would show it to you and say seems to be connected with one of the previous ones that we found on the boat. And I know the guy said not to take anything, but I say we take it.
I agree.
Great.
We're moving on to a different city. Come tomorrow, we should be able to get out with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll zip up. I'll try and find something in here that seems like the same like dimensions as this. Put it into the bag. Zip it back up. So
Yeah, I like it. All right. Gonna end our session. Maybe everyone take a second